This episode is brought to you by certified real estate agent Adele Gomez of EXP Realty. Adele is a veteran educator and is passionate about helping her community grow. Let Adele help you find your new real estate. Don't wait to buy real estate. Buy real estate and wait.
Being filed and civil suits taking place, I feel like it's a really important story to tell because it's not the first story and it's not going to be the last story. I'll just say that. Current statistics and laws within the city about dogs. In January 2019, ACS, or Animal Care Services, published an unrestrained dog study, which found that at any given point in time, there are approximately over 34,000 unrestrained dogs in San Antonio. It also found that between 87% and 96% of those dogs were actually owned. So unrestrained basically means that they're just out. They may have a collar on, they may be a stray dog, but of those that like 87 to 96% of those were actually owned, meaning they had owners, but the owners don't keep them in a yard or restrained in a...
Or realize that they're out.
Vicinity, right, or realize that they're out, and they're wondering. Since that study was performed almost 5 years ago, and due to dramatic changes, social and economic, that have occurred over the past few years, we expect that number to be much different today. An updated count of the stray dog population in San Antonio should be coming out again for last year, 2024. Ever since 2018, dog bite numbers have drastically increased every year, according to Animal Care Services. Animal Care Services is a San Antonio government-run program that works with SAPD and Bexar County Animal Control and fellow animal rescue organizations throughout the city. ACS officers work to respond to calls in regards to animal safety and care, including dog bites, welfare checks, and supporting residents with veterinary care, often low cost or free. And I have shared several of this information online through our social media with information on ACS, and I always try and share anytime they post like the low cost or free pet vaccinations or spay or neuter clinics. Mm-hmm. But you can visit ACS online at sa.gov/ACS or call 210-207-6000 to get further information. Or you can visit the 311 app. If you download the 311 app, you can make any calls in regards to like animal care service needs, whether it be a dog or a cat or any other animal that's loose, or if you need to report a dog bite or things like welfare checks or things like that. We have shared the information as well for the aggressive dog registry through our social media. So this registry allows for anyone to see a map of identified aggressive dogs through ACS, including pictures and details of the breed and level of aggressiveness. So dogs are added to this list after the Animal Care Services does an investigation and complaints have been filed against a particular dog. So if there's a dog in your neighborhood that is continuously attacking people or acting aggressive, then people would have to file the complaint which ACS should be helping people do because that is part of like their job description. And then once like the investigation is done, that dog can be added to the dangerous dog registry list, which is accessible through anyone in San Antonio or anywhere really. However, ACS does have their work cut out when it comes to responding to calls for animal welfare checks and protecting the most vulnerable. And they recently hired a new director, Jonathan Gary, which is hoping to turn around the ACS problems right now that we're seeing with being understaffed and overworked and responding to so many calls. The story is going to take place in February 24th, 2023 on the west side, 90 South, on the 2800 block of Depla Street. It's a normal day for 81-year-old Ramon Najera Jr. and his wife Juanita, or as she is called, Janie. The married couple of 45 years met back in 1974 at a dance, and shortly after that, they exchanged their vows. Together, they shared 7 children, 19 grandchildren, and 14 great-grandchildren. I think that's so cute. They met at a dance. Like, why doesn't that happen anymore?
It does. We just don't get the invites.
Going to the wrong dances like this. Ramon retired as a master sergeant from the U.S. Air Force after 21 years of service. He often would take jobs as private security, working for various companies. That day, Janie had a friend that was going to hem pants that Ramon needed for his job. The two drove together in the Toyota Camry to the home of Angie Martinez off of Depla Street. The couple make their way to the house that day. They parked the car in the street in front of the house. Angie Martinez's house and the house directly next to it had fences up around them. So Janie got out of the car and had to go through the fence into the front door. Angie Martinez was not home at the moment, but her grandson was, and he told her he'd be able to take the pants and give it to his grandmother. So Janie walked back to the car where her husband sat in the driver's seat waiting. Janie had noticed the 2 dogs barking on the other side of the fence on the neighbor's property. Janie hurried through the gate, but by the time she did this, one of the dogs had climbed up over the fence and came directly at her. Janie tried to get into the car, but the dog grabbed her arm, pulling her down immediately. Janie herself, being elderly and not able to react fast enough, couldn't fight off the dog and started screaming to her husband who was in the car. Ramon, being the veteran and protector he naturally was, jumped out of the car and ran to help his wife. By the time her husband got to her, she had had several dog bites. Ramon hit the dog on the top of the head, trying to pull the dog off of her. That's when the dog turned on Ramon, pulling him down to the ground, ripping at his pants, and literally pulling him by the arm across the pavement toward the property where the dog came from. Ramon started screaming, and Janie looked to see the dog pulling him. Ramon told Janie that he could not get the dog off him. Then before long, another dog came out of the same gate and started attacking Janie. She started screaming for help in hopes that maybe the owner of the dogs would hear and come out, or someone else could come to their rescue. So at that time, Deborah, a neighbor who testified with multiple instances of her own encounters with these dogs, said she heard the commotion and her family realized what was happening. They were able to get in their car and drove to where they could see Janie and Ramon on the ground, both trying to fight off the dogs. They testified in court that all they could see was the 2 bodies and the dogs attacking them violently. Angie Martinez's grandson heard the screams in the house and tried to come out in hopes of trying to stop the dogs with a rake. The dogs attacked him, causing him to get bites as well as he fled back towards his home. Deborah and her sister wasted no time, called 911 as they sat in the car honking, trying to yell to get the dog's attention or scare them off without getting out of the car themselves. They both feared if they had tried to get out and intervene, they would be attacked as well. As they sat there in horror, they watched as the 2 dogs attacked Ramon, pulling at him and biting him repeatedly. so intensely that they ripped Ramon's dialysis stent from his body, which is basically there to improve blocked arteries and improve blood flow. So you can imagine how much blood loss that came from that. Ramon was an elder who could barely fight off the two aggressive dogs and was bleeding out, and he would not have the strength to keep up the fight. It took about 10 minutes for the first responders to show up. Firefighters were shocked at the scene and not prepared to fight off the vicious dogs, which were relentless in trying to attack anyone who went up to the dogs. Firefighters had to use axes to fight off the dogs, including getting on the hood of the Najera's car. 2 firefighters were bitten, and 1 firefighter had his pant leg ripped off. They were able to distract the dogs, but were not able to subdue them. And this was a very publicized video of the firefighters fighting off the dogs, if you can watch that on YouTube. But it wasn't the firefighters nor SAPD that helped get the dogs. No, it was the dog owners themselves, Adele Schneider and Christian Moreno. The 2 lived on the house on Depla and were the owners of 3 extra large pit bulls. They had been gone during the attack to ride back on scene to see the firefighters' ambulances on their street. Once they saw that the 2 dogs were out, they quickly called the dogs and yelled at the dogs to get them back inside their home, which the dogs complied. I watched this video in court, and all they did was run up to her, and they started screaming the dogs' names and like clapping and told them to get back. And then the dogs like listened to them and got back into like their yard.
Compound.
Abilene and Christian had no idea how severe the attacks were, but knew the 2 individuals had been on the ground bleeding. Ambulance and firefighters were able to rescue Ramon and Janie. Shortly after that, SAPD responded to the scene. Officer Mendoza of the SAPD testified that there was so much blood that you could taste the iron in the air.
I feel like there's something I should say about that, but why did he have to say it that way?
He's testifying in court and it's dramatic.
I mean, I guess that's the best way he can paint the picture.
So both Abilene and Christian were seen on officer camera as being concerned, but also Abilene shared how Animal Care Service had just released the dogs back to them after they were quarantined for a previous bite a month before. Abilene could be heard on the officer's camera as stating that she knew the dogs were done for, that she couldn't believe that this had happened, and was concerned if she was going to be in trouble for this. Like, she's asking the officer, like, am I going to get in trouble for this? Like, what is going to happen? And then you can see Christian just, like, in the background, like, pacing back and forth and not really saying anything. So SAPD, county sheriffs, county animal control, and ACS all eventually responded to the call. It ultimately fell into ACS hands, and all 3 dogs of the extra large pit bull breed were taken into custody and were ultimately put down within days of this incident. Sadly, Ramon Najera would die from his injuries at the hospital. His wife Janie would have to undergo surgery and rabies shots to recover from her physical wounds. The mental and emotional scarring would leave a forever mark on Janie. That same day, Christian was charged with second-degree felony dog attack resulting in death. Abilene, his wife, would go on the news after that and try to support her man, stating that it wasn't his fault and that they were good owners. About a month later, Abilene herself was arrested and charged with the same felony. Let's fast forward to the trial, which did not take place until last year in 2024. We're facing some serious charges. And what do you do when you're facing serious charges?
Deny?
You take a plea deal.
Oh, that was my next.
Christian Moreno and Adele Schneider pleaded guilty to the charges of the dog attack resulting in death. The 2 could face between 2 to 20 years in prison, and when convicted, and a $10,000 fine. The punishment phase would be overseen by Judge Meza, which we've talked about her before, in the 226th court. And I had the opportunity to attend part of that punishment trial and actually sit by the defendants because they were out on bail, so they were free to come and go as they pleased. And their whole demeanor throughout the trial was very laxed and nonchalant. Okay, what were you going to say?
I don't know if it's too early to say it, but I watch a lot of the reels. And they show all the reels when like the dogs are being really spooked, the babies and stuff. And I can't help but think when people are like, "Oh, look, the dog is like sniffing the baby, licking their face." Like, how do you know when that dog's just gonna like and bite that baby?
You don't know.
You don't know.
Like, not to be morbid, but you don't know.
Is it because of the owner? Or is it because we just don't realize that even though we domesticate these pets, they're still wild?
They're still wild. So, like I said, they would take a plea deal. I had the opportunity to attend the punishment trial. David Avia, a neighbor of Christian and Abilene, testified on repeated accounts of having problems with the pit bulls getting out of the fence that were it was just like a regular metal fence, but it wasn't secured, like a chain link fence, but it wasn't secured.
And these aren't little dogs.
Right. And then they were able to force some ways in between the gate, but then also the pit bulls were able to climb the gate and get over. They would be very aggressive when they were out in the yard. David was attacked 4 months before Ramon would be. And this would be the incident that would have police and ACS reported, and ACS took control of the dogs for a short time and told Christian and Abilene, hey, if you want your dogs, you're going to have to like get them fixed. You're going to have to fix the thing and da-da-da. And so Abilene testified and said that she told them like, hey, I don't have the money for this. We don't have this and that. And they literally just gave her the dogs back with whatever money she was able to pay them. So there will be several other witnesses and neighbors that would share their stories, including another neighbor who had been bit as well on a prior occasion by the dogs, but SAPD or ACS never worked with him as well to possibly file charges or moving forward with any safety plan. So the same thing with David Avila. They never got the information to file the charges or to get the dogs on the aggressive dog list. So no one ever followed up with them and said, hey, this happened. We need to get these files, these charges filed. Here's the paperwork. This is how you do it. And no one kind of explained that to them. So nothing was ever further done as far as the criminal side of it. ACS never followed up with it.
I'm irritated because, and I should not compare humans to animals, but CPS, they won't let a child go back to the house until they see the parent has a job.
Right.
And for X amount of months, they've been able to hold that job down. They have a good house, whatever. If they said you need to have a better fence, then they need to make sure that they had a better fence.
Right.
And that's it. And if the person's saying, I can't afford to do better, then you can't afford to have these dogs.
And then that's where the government steps in and says, you're right. You can't afford these dogs. You're not responsible enough.
And then if they just happen to give the dogs back, I being an owner, not wanting to get into more trouble, would be like, no, you need to keep them.
Right. So Deborah Flores, the neighbor that was in the car that actually filmed a lot of the dog attack, including the attack on the firefighter, shared her home surveillance videos of the dogs climbing the fences and being in her yard several times. Even after trying to talk to Christian Moreno about the dogs, nothing seemed to ever change. Moreno and Schneider's attorneys would really push the narrative that they understand that this was a serious crime, but their clients were not the only ones responsible, and reflecting the responsibility on animal care services and how they failed the community in taking the correct precautions in securing the dogs. Even after there were multiple dog bites reported, ACS would also be criticized for releasing the dogs back ultimately to them, which again, Schneider said that they didn't even have the money to get them back, but ACS worked with them to release the dogs back to them.
Probably because they couldn't control them at the place.
Well, probably because they're overcrowded, understaffed, same old story, right? In the end, Judge Meza would take the testimony in consideration.
Well, did they get in trouble too?
Who?
Is it ACS?
Well, we'll get there.
Hey, come on.
In the end, Judge Mesa would take the testimony in consideration, but would ultimately hand down 15 years of jail and fines to Apolline Schneider and 18 years of jail and fines to Christian Moreno. And
Why not the same to both?
I think she felt maybe one had more responsibility than the other.
Do they live in the same place?
They do, and they were both considered to be both her dogs, so I'm not sure why she gave one more. I kind of feel like maybe it's because Abilene
she had a testimony.
I think Abilene showed more remorse and was more like, I tried, you know.
I didn't try.
And Christian just kind of sat there through most of the testimony, you know, kind of, you know, and all of it was like, he always shrugged it off. He never took it serious. He never did anything to.
I mean, I would rather.
I'm not the judge.
I'd rather believe his response, because at this point in time, what can he do? Whether if I laughed in the court, or I laughed in your face, or I took it seriously, or I cried, whatever it was I was going to do, I cannot change what happened. So why not believe him over her because she's saying something? Like, they're both responsible for it.
You asked me, yeah. No. I totally agree. So Abilene would be sent to Christian Mountain Crane Unit in Gatesville, Texas. Her TDCJ file online states are her maximum sentence dates. Maximum sentence date would be in 2038, but she would be up for parole next year. And her projected release date is actually in 2031. Christian.
So she's fixing to fence herself then by hand.
Mm-hmm. Christian would be sent to the Garza West Unit in Beeville, Texas. And his TDCJ file online states that his max sentence date is 2042. He is also up for parole for next year, and his projected release date is 2032. So neither of them will ever serve the full sentence. Both of them have also filed an appeal to their original convictions, with a push, of course, taking the focus off of them and onto Animal Care Services. So Animal Care Services did go on trial. They said they followed the current procedure that was put into place in regards to the dog bites, holding the dogs, and then were able to return the dogs to their owners. One thing that Moreno Schneider's lawyers, I think, were correct in saying is that they didn't have the education and knowledge to know what to do in these cases. Same as the neighbors, who were not educated in the fact of knowing how to go out, file the charges against the dog owners, but also finally report to get the dogs deemed dangerous. And why ACS didn't pursue that route with them is still yet to be explained.
What is it that she needs to be educated on?
Like, they didn't know how to do it. They didn't know how to go online and file the files. They may not have even known about the Dangerous Dog Registry, which a lot of people don't know about.
I mean, that's fine, but you still can report it.
And they did, but nothing ever happened.
Balls dropped.
The right and legal way of dealing with this, ACS, came under fire after the incidents. And since then, the city council has stepped up in San Antonio.
Well, yeah, they always step up after the fact.
In trying to get control of the outpouring issues surrounded by ACS. It's overworked, undermanned, not enough money. So the city council has voted to open, to give more money to ACS, but also help with hiring. In this past...
But you don't give more money to teachers. Sorry, different subject.
This past February, they did pass the proposal to open a second ACS unit on the northeast side. The other ACS unit is located on the west side. And then, of course, they just brought in a brand new director who apparently, out of 100 applicants, they hired this Jonathan Gray guy to be the new director in hopes that he is going to control this issue of the free roaming dog population and stray dog population.
Why not stray animal?
Well, whoever is a stray.
Well, I mean, because cats can do some damage too.
Oh, for sure.
So, I mean.
And as of last year, Juanita Najera has pursued to sue the city for its lack of reaction, due diligence, and preventing the dog attack that claimed her husband's life. And that has yet to be determined in court.
Because they were how old?
In their 80s, like 70s.
Oh. I mean, I question how loud her screams and cries were for people to not respond and come out there. Because the boy was just like, oh. And then he finally comes outside. But they'd already been out there, been attacked for a good 2 to 3 minutes, 5 minutes, however long it had been. I know initially, like, I get, if he's the same age as you, what can he do?
I know.
And I get why you're calling him, like, honey, help, like, ah. You don't know who else to call, so of course he's there, you're gonna call him. But he is no help.
And
unless you're trying for you both to go at the same time, because you can't fight off the dogs. And then this lady's like, I'm gonna stay in my car and film this for evidence because I don't want to get bit. You're in a car. Granted, you don't want to hit the old man, but you could have read up your car,
right.
honked your horn, and drove towards him. I don't know how true
well,
it is.
And I'm like, I know the firefighters responded first, but I'm like, nobody had like mace or like, where's the pepper spray? Where's the?
Not only that, there's objects around somewhere. You got pots and pans inside the house. No one else is home. The entire neighborhood, no one else is home.
Well, apparently someone else tried to use like one of those water orby guns. Like,
no, they're supposed to poke them in a certain hole to get them to release. And I don't know how true it is, but I hear that constantly. Somebody could have had a broomstick or a rake or a hoe or some kind of gardening tool or something laying around there. Like there had to be a truck with some kind of tools or something around there. Just the simple fact that she's in her car.
When I was in court and they were the neighbors were all testifying, there were several of them. They all had PTSD. You could tell they were all fucking traumatized by these dogs. And I'm like, why the hell did anyone shoot these dogs a long time ago? Because that would have been my first thing. I would have been like, get the gun. This is like, we're done with this.
You can also train them to not come around your area.
But I mean, I'm just saying in general, like that whole neighborhood like was traumatized by these dogs. They said since like 2019, like it had been going on for a while.
Was this an elderly neighborhood?
90.
I mean, I get it.
West side.
I used to walk up the street.
Well, and let me tell you,
there was a cement wall, and when I looked up, there was a dog. Its head was huge, and he's over the fence. I stopped walking because if your head is over the fence, you can easily climb over. So I can get you being that fear. Yeah. But at the same time, that was me compared to all these other people.
If I lived in that neighborhood and this was going on, I would tell him, your dog gets out again and is in my yard, I'm shooting the damn dog. Like, I'm sorry.
You don't have to harm the dog and kill it, but there's things that you can do.
Oh, I'm shooting the damn dog.
As a neighborhood, okay, fine. You can't afford to fix your fence. You want to keep these dogs, then we're going to help with the fence. There could have been other things that they all could have chipped in and done and come together as a neighborhood. Like if you have a kid, the village raises a kid, and you help that kid to learn to be better. We all watch out for the kid, or you have the drug dealers in the neighborhood. You're all fearful of the people because they have the cops on their side or whatever like that. But it's just like the movie Ants and the Grasshoppers. You outnumber them. If you don't pull together to protect what you have, this is what you allow to happen. So I don't know if I can feel sorry for the neighborhood because you're just as guilty.
I mean, it's like something should have been done, and I don't know whose fault. I mean, I guess it's everybody's, honestly. I think.
Well, it's not even a blame game situation.
I think
if you don't step up to do something about it, how do you get to complain?
City failed, the citizens failed, everyone failed. But
you're allowed to have a pet.
Absolutely, everyone's allowed to have a pet, but that comes with responsibility.
Well, it does, but then you have people that just don't like. And I keep jumping around with things, but these officers, for whatever reason, went to this house. Totally different topic, but the dad or the boyfriend was supposed to be watching the kids, and the kids were sleeping. They're like, where are the kids at? She goes in the bedroom. The kids are naked, and there's feces all over the room. The room smells horrible. The house is not kept. He's trying to put on a shirt to talk to them. The kids are just running around naked and stuff. When they get outside, they're like touching the trees. Like, what is this? Like, they've never been outside before. And they said that they took the beds and stuff from the kids because they're trying to teach them. So if the parents aren't equipped with how to raise a child, when the officer walked in there, when you see the state that the kids are in initially, why are you continuing to ask more questions?
Right.
Remove the children, arrest the people. But they continue to waste more time and ask more questions. I guess you got to get more evidence, stuff like that. And that's what I'm saying. It's not a blame game, but at the same time, if I don't do anything about it, Why am I complaining?
Mm-hmm.
If the dogs have been out and terrorized the neighborhood to where they all are like traumatized from it, why are you in this courthouse now after a life has been taken and you're looking for justice? Where was the justice that you put in? And not that you had to kill the dogs. Not that it's the people, if they're getting that type of animal and they don't know how to take care of it.
And that's for any, it can be cat, dog,
Oh, yeah, but I mean,
horse, pig, whatever.
Because they weren't educated to take care of the dog, because you weren't educated to find out what to do. Now this lady had to get educated on how to bury her husband. Well, I don't understand why we're waiting to be educated on do things that make sense that we're supposed to just do. I don't get that part.
Well, that's why we educate, and that's why we share the information, so no one can say, "Oh, I didn't know that." Well, we have posted it on our social media a million times.
Is this going to make a difference? Because
it needs to start making a difference. Because I'm tired
me
of hearing these stories about these damn dog attacks.
But educate me on how to get people to listen to these things that we put out there.
Like, if I have to listen to one more dog attack, I'm going to lose my mind.
Well, you're going to. And it's not even the stray animals. It's the dog attack, because the animals that have owners.
Yes, it's the animals that have owners, but like, we're not being responsible. We have to be responsible owners, and we have to be responsible people. And if we know so-and-so is not doing their responsibility right, then we need to be calling the city. We need to be calling the government and saying, hey, you need to step in, because now it's your responsibility, because these people are not taking. It'd be the same thing if the dog was dying of starvation. ACS would come in. Animal control would come in,
that strays that have been out for a long time, they're too timid when people come up there to rescue it. Like, they don't even want to. Like, they're going to be protective. They want, they'll snap at you once you approach it, but they're not going to automatically just come up and be like, I'm going to bite you. Like, animals are more afraid of us than we are them, depending on the size. They're going to be defensive and protect themselves.
And you need to spay and neuter your dogs and cats. Good Lord, please. Spay and neuter them. All of them.
I've noticed, and I don't know
if spay and neuter all of them, and quit buying these dogs off of Facebook Marketplace. You don't know where they're from. You don't know their genes. It's like the rescue animals. Don't know any of them.
You're going back to the whales now.
Stop breeding the aggressive breeds. No, I'm not saying pit bulls are just aggressive. It's not just pit bulls.
Well, no, I see them chihuahuas.
I know, me too. I'm telling you.
That would be mean. I don't know if it's really a race thing, but certain people take care of their animals in a different way. Like, some of them are like all about the shots and records and stuff, and like little outfits and stuff, and the dog has like a little bowl, and they wash their dishes together, and like all this type of stuff. And
they cook their food together. They eat together.
Yeah, they're like, we go shopping together. Like, it's like, this is my baby, fur babies, and all stuff like that. Like, we had a dog, but the dog was not allowed on our furniture. The dog was not sleeping in my bed. The dog had his own bed, had his own cage, and it was a dog. It wasn't like, come here, honey.
It wasn't my baby.
I would feed it off of a fork, whatever it wasn't eating. Like, I would be like cute with it, but I wasn't like lick me in the face type of things, Like, we taught you, like, you get hit if you lick me anywhere here. Hands, legs, feet, fine. Died, or we were trying to protect it and treat it like, every time I got a cut,
I understand
I didn't get taken to the hospital.
Right. I understand that. And nobody's asking everyone to be like that. But I mean, be responsible.
You do need to take that extra measure.
Right.
Because, I mean, people don't even do it with their own kids, though.
You have to be responsible. You're taking care of something else other than yourself. You have to be responsible.
You got to know how to take care of yourself first.
I've looked so if you look on the dangerous animal registry list, it's all kinds of dogs. Little dogs, big dogs, all kinds of breeds. So it's not just one. And I'm not going to say it's just pit bulls, because I've met some of the sweetest pit bulls like ever. And I can't say it's just pit bulls. Like, I will never say that. Because it could be any dog. It could be a Chihuahua. It could be a Labrador. It could be a Dalmatian. It could be any dog.
Well, now I don't want to get a pet. I'll see about it.
You can get a pet. You need to go adopt one.
Oh, I don't know. I'm going to be leaving it at home by itself when I go to work. I don't want to do that. I can do that with a fish.
But again, if you're going to own a dog or own any pet, you have to be responsible. You have to be. Get it spayed, neutered. Go get those free shots. Call ACS. If I'm responsible, see what they can offer you.
And my dog, which is kind of odd.
You remember my mom's dog? She was like carrying it around like a baby. It's like, oh, that dog gets treated better than I do.
It's been a while.
Okay, well, I mean, hers is, it's like a Jack Russell, like, terrier mix. But, I mean, it's small and like she carries it around still like a baby. And then, like, my sister has a Schnauzer, which is kind of like a little bit bigger, but I don't know. I've always had big dogs. Like, my dogs are big now.
No, she said she gave it away.
I've never had a small dog. I would like a small dog in the future. After my dogs are long and
I
gone,
only like small dogs.
I will get a small dog after my dogs are long and gone. Because I'm done with this German Shepherd. The size of a freaking couch. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yorkie mixed with Chihuahua.
That's cute.
A Chorky.
Chorky.
Okay. So a
A
hairy little
Chihuahua.
dog, yeah.
A Chihuahua.
I'm not fearful of big dogs. I just don't like it when they stand on their hind legs and they're as big as me.
Mm-hmm.
Just in case we have to fight. I want to have a better chance. Like if it's smaller, I can kick it if I need to.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. The girl lives around the corner. She's trying to get me to get a cat. I'm like, I'm not a cat person, first of all. And your cat has ruined me. Because I don't understand it. Your cat is so odd. It leaves for like years and comes
My
back.
cat?
Yes. I was like, oh, she got a new cat because he comes back and looks 15 years younger than he did when he left. I was like, it's a kitten now. Like, why does it look so small?
And mind you, he is fixed, so he ain't running out and getting no tail. He's out there running the damn streets doing God knows what.
And then
God
knows how
knows
to come back. He just comes back. He's like,
yeah.
How's it
Last
going?
time I saw him, he was there with like 3 friends. I'm like, who are these cats? I haven't seen you in years, and you're showing up with friends.
it's my son's.
I'm like, you're fixed. Who are these cats? You're female. You're girl.
them.
Like,
yeah, your cat. I don't get your cat.
I don't either.
Thank you for listening to our story today. And remember, True 10 is brought to you by you, our listeners and supporters. You can follow us on Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, and join us on Facebook. And remember, stay safe, San Antonio.